Okay, should we just like do?
Yeah, let's just dive right in.
We can just like talk about this, I guess, because people.
Right in.
So listen, 2 of the 4 together. 2 of the 4, it's 50%. Yeah. So listen, like I'm already like I think people are like I'm watching people like comment about address. I think most people in here don't know what some of this is like. I think most people in here don't know what this is like in reference to. But I also think that like as like I've stated before, if you've watched my live a couple weeks, like I think for the last few weeks, I think it's good to like always. I think like our communities, we're very close to our communities, and we want to show like we're always trying to show you guys that like we're not. We care about what we do. We care about the things we say, and also that like we owe you guys everything because you guys have like made. You guys are, the fact that we can do this right now and just talk about nonsense in front of 1,000 people is fucking insane. So we want to say that we love all of you so much. I think what we're about to talk about, most people do not know about. But again, I think like we owe it to you guys to like talk a little bit about it and also say that like we care about what we do and we care about fucking the things we say online. So if you do you want to go ahead?
No, I'm joking. Yes,
you don't.
Wow. No, I mean, so look, there was individuals, I won't name names obviously because we're not trying to send hate to anybody. We don't want anybody attacking anybody. And people have been asking like, why haven't you spoken about it? I think that's like probably the main reason because it's just different. Like we have platforms and we don't want people to attack anybody or send hate anybody's way because for us, we've been doing it for a long time. For other people, that can be quite overwhelming. So we just, we're taking a couple minutes to stay here. But anyway, point is there was individuals.
Ava Lincoln Park, I love it. Sorry. I'm like, close to that. Sorry. I'm saying what's something, I still got to start going live when I interrupted you. Go ahead. Individuals.
Never mind. I'm playing.
There you go.
No, there are individuals who released like private messages of myself and them, and they were, consensual adults. They're older than me, for this person in particular. These messages are really old. I think probably coming from like September or August or October. And they were explicit in nature. And, there was nothing in the sense of like, it wasn't consensual. It was all consensual, 2 adults agreeing. But, they asked, I think in some of the messages, they were like, are you seeing anybody? Are you talking to anybody else? I said no. That wasn't true. I was also still like living in New York City as 21 at the time. I think I was. I'm 22 now. 21 then, 22 now. Still like a 21, young 20, living in New York City, living my life, going out with friends.
Wait. I do want to be clear for a second. When you say that you're not in a relationship.
No. I wasn't no. This was not relationship. Like we set parameters.
No. I'm talking about like you just said that like you were seeing other, but like
No, I wasn't.
Wait, what?
I think you just heard me wrong.
Oh, I'm not.
No, point is like
I think. Did you say you were in New York City and
I'm saying I wasn't exclusive with any of these people, but also like as a 20-year-old in New York City, I was still like living as a 20.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah, I'm trying to be nice about it.
My bad. I understand.
But I told them I wasn't talking to other people, and I did that out of wanting to respect my own privacy because I set a parameter saying like, hey, this is not exclusive, this is not long term, we're not in a relationship. I did that to protect my own privacy. In hindsight, there are far better ways to go about protecting my own privacy than that. And so I probably shouldn't have done that. And I think there's, definitely room for improvement. Again, I think at the end of the day, we are young. We are still making mistakes. You know what I mean? We're still making mistakes. We're not perfect, and by no means do we claim to be perfect. And we're, still learning and improving every single day. And that comes with making mistakes and then taking ownership for those mistakes. But I will also say that, like, I think the way that some people have gone about talking about this has been not great. Like, for example, the person in question that really started all this has been, like, doxing my girlfriend, for example. They posted a video saying that they were going to identify her based off of, like, one characteristic, and they actually ended up doing that. They actually did find out who she is. I've been very clear that I want to keep my relationship private, and I don't, she doesn't want her face out there. She doesn't want her name out there. She actually found her accounts on all platforms, and has been telling people behind the scenes her name, and has been sharing that with people. And that's been transparently like very stressful for me, but also very anxiety provoking for her. She is not in the public sphere. She doesn't deserve that. She doesn't deserve people talking about her. And so you know, I think that there are like, that's just not right. You know what I mean? It's just not right. And I think revealing like, you know, like private images of myself, like I think one of these
Nurse Lynn,
images,
it's good to see you.
One of these images that somebody, like this individual released, was like me in the shower. It wasn't anything explicit, right? It was just like my shoulders, but I still think that that's wrong. I don't think any of you watching would do that to somebody, like regardless of the circumstances. I don't think I wouldn't do that. I know Chris wouldn't do that to anybody. It's just wrong.
I also want to say quickly for people being in here, I appreciate you. A lot of people are saying like, what is this about? Like, again, I don't think many people are talking about this, but I think it was like, we saw a few comments and we wanted to talk about it. And I think that there's like a little bit of I'm going to be completely honest here. I think there's like a little bit of a misconception, like around, again, like the, how this like situation that isn't a situation, it's now a situation. Wow.
Okay, you need to.
Sorry, it's serious time. Listen, I think that like, essentially, like I like Harry and this human being never met in person. In fact, they were across the country from each other, one in New York and another in a state far, far away. And I think that like again, the idea of saying like I think that there's some assumption here that like there was not when Harry was talking to this individual that he said like, oh, I'm looking for something serious, or we're exclusive, or Harry was in a relationship himself. None of those things are true. In fact, I believe, if you don't mind me saying this, like Harry, when he first started talking to this individual, explicitly said, it is totally okay if you don't want to engage in anything, but we are not exclusive. I am not looking for anything serious. And again, I think for like most of us in like adult life, if you're talking like this is over like a Snapchat. So it's like, okay, you know, I think we kind of understand where we're going with this. And again, I think that like to Harry's point, I think that like for both of us as young men, like we can be better, right? I don't think like we don't have any ill will toward like this human being or anyone here, but or anyone like in this situation. We can be better. Like I think like trying to do this can be like really hard to be like a 22-year-old. And I think obviously I'm not trying to like, well, life is so hard. Like, no, it's not, right? We're pretty fucking very blessed for the fact that people are in here listening to us do nonsense and we get to do this. Like, this is truly like, we're so grateful and it's incredible. Some like mental health level, it can be challenging to like live life and try to like learn and understand. Like, I think everybody knows in here, just in general, like relationships are hard. Right. I was in a long-term relationship for a long time. Like, relationships are a really, really challenging thing. I think everybody knows that. And I think trying to go about them people fuck up and they mess up. And we're, I think, doing that at some level, like public facing, which again, I wish that like this wasn't, I think it's fucked up for like us to be like this individual to be like posting pictures of private things that were said, for example, doxing, like actively trying to dox your girlfriend who like explicitly you have not said her name. Nobody knows who she is. And we're like, I've talked to her about that.
Yeah.
Like I've talked to, and like the amount of like stress that goes into something like that, I think is like pretty intense. And again, to someone's comment right there, someone said that people are blowing this way out of proportion. Again, I think that like it's really important to like continue to take accountability or try to be better no matter how small. And I think that like like Harry and I have been talking about this all day, like thinking about it. But again, like from a basic standpoint, like two human beings halfway across the country over Snapchat, never met in person. I think we could all have like a reasonable conversation about what's right and what's wrong. But in terms of like daily life, like we're not talking about anyone being in a relationship, no one meeting in person, no one doing something that obviously they weren't, they didn't agree to do consensually and set those like parameters. I also think that there's other people, I'm just going to be frank here. Cause like, again, my mental is like kind of, fucked up. I'm gonna let Harry speak. I'm talking about, well, here's the thing. This is why I'm talking about me for a second. I think for me, like, I understand now that there's people that have been dragged into this situation who are now dragging other people. I have an ex-girlfriend who I care a lot about, but we're not, I respect her. And there's a whole thing there. She's being, I believe, dragged into this somehow. I've been told that there are photos of me, explicit photos of me, I'll be straight honest, explicit photos of me and things that I did consensually that are being either A, shared around, or B, like told to other people privately, along with those individuals like trying to either reach out to my private family or dox Harry's girlfriend. And it's like, okay, we don't need to do these things online. But yeah, I don't know. Life's a hard thing. Life's a really hard thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. That's
We
like
live
a
in a
lot.
society.
We're saying a lot, so it's like a lot to, I think, digest for people. But yeah, I think the fundamental here is that, with said individual, I set those parameters of being like, we're not exclusive. There's no long-term thing here. I also have like screenshots to back it up, but I'm not interested in like whipping that out right now. Right? It's just I'm not interested in playing that game. But at the end of the fundamental, at the end of the day, shouldn't have been dishonest. That's what it is. It was a juvenile mistake. It was high school shit. Reminded me of like something your fucking guy friends would do in high school. That's it. Done. I mean, there's no justification, no excuse. Done. You know what I mean? And that goes across the board. We're young. We're still making mistakes. We're figuring life out. Those mistakes can often hurt people. And that's why this mistake in particular like is wrong. And somebody just said it's quote unquote boys being boys or guys being guys. It's like we first of all don't agree with that principle, but it certainly feels like this action could fall into that category. So that's the most important thing. That it's just like, did it, learn from it, and we're gonna grow, and that's what it is. And these, took place many months ago. Certainly not, I think, recently. But it's that, and that's the thing. And like, but I will reiterate that like behind the scenes, and I won't, I'm not gonna name names, not trying to get messy with this shit, but behind the scenes, like Chris is having explicit messages and explicit photos hung over his head, right? My girlfriend's identity, which she wants to keep private, is being held over my head. And just across the board, right? So I think my overall point is that like, yeah, what, I did was regrettable, right? You should just be honest, right? And when you can be, you should just be honest, right? But having the response being like, we're going to locate your girlfriend who's private. And we all know like how crazy MAGA is. Like if MAGA, I don't know if you've seen like on Twitter, they've been like taking the pictures of me and my girlfriend in the videos and they've been posting it with like obscene captions. They've been doing it here on TikTok. We know how crazy MAGA is. Once MAGA gets a hold of information like that, they will run with it and they will go after her. You know what I mean? So the fact that that's like being even kind of shared and like hung over her head is wrong. So, and the images being shared that are private is wrong.
Hi, Jennifer.
So,
yeah. Also, like, I want to be clear to like everyone. Like, again, I think we've like made this like a very serious conversation, but I think the original intention was to like get on here and like debate, right? I think that like this is like a pretty niche I call this I think like not niche. I'm sorry, I shouldn't phrase it like that. I'm saying like there's not many people who like know about this. I think there's some people who reached out to us privately to ask, and I think like we were trying to like address it, but now it's been like a long time of like we're just like we're not trying to talk like very seriously. What is someone like
yeah, I mean also like we first of all wanted to come on, or I should say I wanted to come on and say accountability, right? That's the most important thing. But also we want transparency. So if you have questions about this and you're interested in asking them and there's something that you're just like still unsure about, we are 100% interested in answering those questions so you guys know everything. Because what I also will say is that transparently, what's up?
Sorry, go ahead.
Transparently, there's been a lot of information left out of these things. Once again, Chris and I are trying to be adults. We're trying to be mature, and we're not interested in getting into an information battle and what she did was wrong, what he did was wrong, what they did was wrong. Tackling those. Sorry. We're not interested in that information battle of like trying to put out, we have all this, not interested in it. But we are interested in transparency with you folks if you have questions.
Somebody said quickly, and I know this video is like floated around, why did you, like, can you apologize for calling them lunatics? Actually, yes, I apologize, because I think that it's actually in this like instance, backing up for a second, and that was not like a real apology. Just let me get my thoughts out first. Yeah. So look, like, again, I think in like the instance here, like when we're not mentioning names publicly. We're like trying not to like talk about this publicly. Like in this instance, again, I'm being like, my people in my personal life are being like dragged into this, and these individuals are getting like doxing, like Harry's girlfriend, spending like all day and all night trying to like essentially trying to like pump this and post videos about it. I will say, and again, I'm not interested in information war here, but while these videos were like being posted, while you guys were hearing about this, like these individuals were also like texting Harry saying like, you know, explicit things of, oh, I'm so sorry. We could make up if you come here and do.
Also, can I quickly add something to that? When I got into, and I'm not going to name names. Again, I'm not interested in like sending hate anybody's way. Just not interested in doing that. When I got into a relationship, one of these people texted me that they wanted to come to where I live and do stuff, and I had to remind them that I'm in a relationship, that I'm loyal to my girlfriend, we are exclusive, and that I am very much happy with her. And it's just wrong, you know?
And again, like, I think I saw someone, I don't think like, someone said blame the girls. I don't think that like anybody is like, again, I think that, when we talk about like, somebody said like, can you mention the, like, can you apologize for the pictures? I think part of this is like, I don't really like understand. I feel like there's like a disconnect between what people understand about the situation and like what is actually like happening, I guess. But anyways, I
also think that I think there's been like given that selective information has been released, I think that there has been. Sorry. Given that there's been selective information released, I think that there's been a big disconnect in some cases from the truth. There are a lot of things that are truthful, but there are a lot of things that aren't. And so I think at the end of the day, I think what's important to recognize, even as a viewer on the internet, is that just like when you see something, like take a step back and like think about it.
The internet is a nuanced destruction machine.
It's a nuanced destruction machine, meaning that any nuance in about a conversation will.
Can you scoot over? Yeah, move the fuck out the way, buddy.
Shut the hell
Appreciate
up,
you.
dude. God, dude.
Are there any MAGA in here, by the way? There's MAGA. You're here. I know you're here.
So, anyway.
No, I don't like. Okay. Yeah, if you want to like be MAGA, you can let me. Oh, Santana's here. Yeah, Santana.
Also, wait, hold on. If you guys actually have any questions,
oh yeah, my bad.
Happy to answer those questions, because again, transparency is important. But we're also going to respect them, even though many of these people are saying things about myself or Chris. We will respect their privacy, so we're not going to name names. That's all.
Just cliff notes. Someone asked.
Somebody said, "Why didn't you apologize?" We've been talking about this for like 20 minutes now, so we talked about that. But again, of course, accountability is important. Accountability is important. That's all.
Can you recap? It's apologizing. I think there's like still like a disconnect between. I'm trying to understand.
I agree and disagree.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give like some cliff notes here again, because I guess like we've now made this a thing, but I guess not many people knew about it. So again, here's the deal. I think like I'm gonna give like very blunt cliff notes. There was an individual on Snapchat who lived in the state of Illinois while Harry lived in the state of New York. They started engaging in consensual exchange of explicit
Just things.
Explicit things. I think that the parameter for Harry was, my understanding of this is, the parameter from Harry was originally set saying we are, like, this is for fun. We are not exclusive. If that is not okay with you, that's totally cool with me. I think that, like, one big thing I consistently talk about, and like I debate with people on this all the time, is like, again, just being like very intentional about like what you want. Like, I don't think that there's a problem with wanting like, to have fun, right? But being clear about wanting to have fun, not leading people on. So being clear of like, this is what this is. Through that, I think that this individual then, I guess, leaked the photos and said that Harry got a girlfriend. I don't know. She says that she was led on. That's kind of like, the cliff notes. Harry and this individual I've never met in person. And
never FaceTime them.
Never FaceTime. So that's,
or at least spoken on FaceTime, I should say.
Yeah, I think that's like, those are the cliff. Yeah, someone said, high school stuff. Those are the cliff notes. I think that like
high school stuff.
I think that, yeah, I think that like, again, like I think this is being like blown in pretty intensely out of proportion. But the idea being that like, Harry engaged in saying, essentially, she asked, are you seeing other people? Are you talking to other people? And, Harry said, no. Was he actively engaging in talking to other people on texting them or Snapchatting? Yes. Was that a mistake? Yes. You should not have done that. That was a mistake.
That was a mistake.
And I think that like, and again, I think that like in this aspect, and I think like genuinely, like we don't have any ill will toward these people. I think that like, you not like allowing the framing to be, I'm sorry. Like I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought there. It was the idea of, regardless of how inconsequential it may seem to you, because again, you may only talked a few times and it's over an app like Snapchat. I think like still like, other people living completely different lives have different perspectives than you do. And I think that like, if maybe they're willing to only continue talking to you if they have the premise of understanding of like, being exclusive. And I think that's something like Harry and I, and we talked to Parker and Dean today on the phone for a long time. And we literally just sat and talked about like, again, the like idea and the like, I don't want to say like morality, that sounds kind of strange, but like, the instance of like why Harry made the decisions he did or why this happened. But again, like Cliff Notes, it's Snapchat stuff. So
yeah. Someone's mistakes.
We live in a society.
Yeah. Mistakes that, of course, take accountability for and apologize for, and that's the important thing. It's like really just. I also like I want to be clear. Like I see a bunch of people saying, "Let certain people up." I want to be clear that I think that's actually like an incredibly immature thing for us to do if we were to do it, because that just like it's just going to spiral. The conversation's not going to be productive. I'm a big believer of like, quote unquote, like not fighting with people when it comes to serious matters like this. And I think just like there's nothing productive that's going to come from that conversation. There's nothing.
Yeah. And I also think that like, again, in the sense of like, it's like proportional, right? We're taking like an instance of having this conversation about decisions that were made over Snapchat, and we've taken it and now we're like doing things like doxing Harry's girlfriend. Right. So like what, like if the idea here is that like, again, I think like we talk a lot about like women issues on the internet, and it's something we care deeply about. That's why we're having this conversation right now, to like continue to try to be better. But we've taken this instance of a mistake, and now we're essentially, we're putting another woman who's stuck in this situation, aka Harry's girlfriend, and putting her through like massive stress and all these things because she's being doxxed and people are now messaging her because of this. So it's like, why like, it almost feels like let's not weaponize something for women against other women. You know what I'm saying? It's like treating other women like shit. Anyways, I don't know. It's a little messy. So I just don't think that like, again, I don't know that like why we're like, I kind of agree with Harry that like, I really wish that some of these things privately like could be taken offline, because it's like, this does not seem like something that needs to be talked about.
Yeah. I mean, I also think that's the case. I think that like the best place to deal with something like that is not in the public forum, because I think that there's a lot of opportunity for people who are not involved to get attacked, facts to be misconstrued. I think something like this is far better in a private setting. That's just us. I think that's our view. We understand it's been made public. and that's why we're here now. We're talking about it. We're being completely transparent about it. To answer any questions about it. And yeah.
Wow, we just like made this a whole thing.
I think it's more, maybe, but I think it's also important to be, just talk about it.
Yeah.
So, understand that there will be people who.
I just don't think like I think that like I'm getting like frustrated a little bit because I think that like, again, like it doesn't matter. Continue.
No, I mean, I don't even remember what I was going to say. To be honest, I don't remember what I was going to say. So that's all. That's our short view.
He made a mistake. Apologize. Yeah, I think we're gonna go live tonight and debate some people.
Yeah.
Because like again, I don't know that this needs to be like a thing.
I also.
But again, we can like talk about it more tonight. So, did they attempt to talk about it privately first? And
no, unfortunately not.
Where's the apology? I think we talked a little bit about that. If you
guys want to talk about this one,
if you guys want to ask anything else,
well, like genuinely, like we'll take.
Y'all the best, Regina. I appreciate you a lot. Thank you guys for being here, by the way, just listening. I appreciate everybody in here. Like, I genuinely mean that.
Uh-oh.
It just sounds like a lack of communication. There, yeah.
I mean, let me take questions. I got this.
Oh, answer.
I think like lack of communication for sure. And again, I want to be clear. A lot of juvenile behavior, right? You know what I mean? That's like.
Well, also, actually, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to go scorched earth.
You can say whatever you want.
No.
I think it is important.
No.
So somebody says, so yes or no, you cheated. No, because I wasn't I made abundantly clear with any of these people that there was no exclusivity. And again, I have messages to back that up, but again, I'm not interested in an information war. I'm just not interested in it. Matter of fact, even one of these people like acknowledged on a live stream recently that they were seeing other people at the same time, right? Like, and that was perfectly fine because there was no exclusivity. But no, like there was no exclusivity. There was no like relationship taking place. So yeah. Why are we in y'all's business? We also advocated for it to be private. Again, we still fundamentally believe that this would be a better thing to be talked about privately. No, give me a break. We also think this is something that's better to be talked about privately, but that's just us. Let's see here.
Tell her. You're fine.
Yeah. Let's see here.
What's your password?
Why? And he says, why did you lie saying you weren't seeing someone when you were? So I wasn't like seeing anybody, but also the reason why was, because I wanted to protect my own privacy. Like I felt as if I set the parameters beforehand, being like, yeah, we're not in a relationship, we're not exclusive, and we have separate private lives. You don't have to tell me about your private life. I don't have to tell you about my private life, especially given the circumstances. I was doing it to protect my own privacy, but in hindsight, obviously, there are better ways to protect privacy.
I also want to point out, and I'm sorry for engaging here, maybe when I shouldn't, but again, I really I think that we're...
Someone said, why did you block an individual? I blocked a lot of these people because I learned that they were doxing my girlfriend. I didn't, for the most part on my main account, I haven't blocked anybody. I've only blocked people on more backup accounts and stuff like that for the most part. Didn't block anybody until I learned that they were actively trying to discover the identity of my girlfriend. Once I did learn that they were actively trying to discover the identity of my girlfriend, I was like, that's too much. And also, I'm sorry. In terms of, I'm just gonna be straight up honest here, because again, I really don't think that this is a necessary thing to get into, and I am consistently frustrated, I think, with the lack of information. I agree with Harry, what Harry said about, again, people saying things about, I agree with the idea of saying the exclusivity thing. The thing that we're leaving out, I'm just gonna be straight up honest. Multiple of these people were talking to both of us at the same time. I'm sorry. I'm gonna get upset here. I'm gonna go scorched earth, but the dishonesty framing here is a little frustrating.
Like the people that you're listening to are saying that, like, again, in these scenarios where we've never met any of these individuals and Harry was leading X, Y, and Z, like we both know that they were talking to both of us at the same time. In fact, I was in the same room getting the same images and stuff while we're now claiming that like it's a being led on. I don't want to get into this, but like this is like the framing here is unbelievably dishonest. It's dishonest. It is. I agree with the idea of even when other people are being dishonest, trying to be better, but like, come on, this is.
So we're going to wrap this up in a second. I wasn't going to say that, but he's right.
Come on.
He actually is right. That did happen.
All right, we're gonna go record YouTube videos.
Yeah, so now what we're gonna do, now that you know that, I wasn't planning to reveal that, but it is the truth, and that's all you have to know. We're gonna go record YouTube videos. We're gonna go back into going to debunking MAGA and trying to fight for our fucking democracy. Because at the end of the day, we are in like constitutional crisis right now. Like yesterday, fucking Donald Trump openly ignored a court order from a judge saying, hey, you can't do this. They said, we're going to do it anyway. We are in a constitutional crisis right now. So while this is important to talk about, I also don't want to meet you guys in the gulag in a couple years.
That'd be good.
So I'm hoping that we can continue to move forward and continue to push back against Donald Trump. And I'm going to go do that. Chris is going to do that.
Cool.
People are saying, let Santana? Should we
let Santana up real quick. And then we'll go. Tonight we're going to debate some MAGA, and we love you all very much. He's on the top.
No, I understand.
Okay.
Trust me,
I love you guys. No, genuinely, I know some people, I know this is going to be an ongoing conversation. We appreciate you guys like a lot. What's up, man?
What's up, Santana?
Hey, guys. Listen, I'm going to
I can't hear you.
Why can't we hear you?
Why
can't we hear Santana?
Go ahead.
You guys good? Can you hear me? All right. I'm going to make it super quick, right? I just want to come up and say I have so much respect for both of you young men, right? I don't think that people really understand how much it takes to do what you do. And for me to do this at a smaller scale, but also in a shorter amount of time, you, Chris, Dean, Parker, you guys are young men with your future ahead of you. You have so many opportunities. And for any situation to be, one, dragged through the mud like this is absolutely insane. Two, let's just keep it real. You guys are good looking guys. You're young. You have options. Like, it's life, right? And that's what it is. I'll just say this. Don't feel bad about anything. I'm sorry to hear what's going on, especially when understanding like the privacy and how this entire social media echo chamber works and how things can actually blow up. You guys are great young men, and I just want to double down on that. I've had the same conversation with Dean. I had the same conversation with Parker. Like, I seriously mean this. You four are out here doing amazing work. Stay focused on what you're doing. Don't let any of this drag you down. Continue to push forward. Everything's going to be fine, right?
I appreciate you, bro. This guy's a man. WC Santana and Chandler, you guys are following this guy.
Yeah, listen, I mean, I've lived a lot of life, right? I'm older than both of you guys, and I couldn't imagine doing what you're doing at this age, like at the age you are, like doing what I'm doing is absolutely insane. So,
brother, I appreciate that a lot.
I wanted to say that. That was it.
I appreciate it, man. Well, listen.
See you guys later.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. We'll talk soon. All right.
All right.
Appreciate it. What a guy.
All right, let's go try to fight for democracy,
all right? If you want to follow us me on YouTube, you can. Link in my bio. Also,
we're gonna go make some YouTube videos right now and to make some TikToks and shit like that.
And Harry's going to do the same. If you want to check him out, Harry just the same. We'll be back later. We're
gonna go live later. We're gonna debate later,
and I'm sure we'll talk about this more.
And we'll discuss more.
Yeah.
And again, happy to be transparent about this stuff.
Cool. All right. I love you guys.
All right.
You guys, hey, genuinely from the bottom of my heart, even though I know people are upset in here, which is understandable. I also want to say that, like, again, I think these will be like, obviously, like, I think Harry and I are going to talk about this privately, and also, like, we will continue to have this conversation publicly. But I think just really quickly backing up to everybody in here who's also upset, understandably upset, like, we appreciate you and we love you. We have no, like, ill will toward anyone. We appreciate the fact that, like, you guys give us the ability to do any of this. So, all right.